Good. Okay, so draw your triangle right here, label your HOA, and after that we will find X. So labeling your HOA, what letter is the hypotenuse, or which side, X13 or 20? Which side's our hypotenuse? Across 9 degrees, that's the hypotenuse, HYP, or H, that's fine. And then which angle, or which side rather, is opposite of the angle of interest? The angle of interest is the one that's shaded. Straight across, that is the opposite side, that's side X. And the one that we don't know what it means, we do that last, that's the adjacent. Okay? So, if we're trying to find the hypotenuse, we'll use c squared equals, and then we'll add, but are we trying to find the hypotenuse, or do we already know the longest side? We have it. So, should we add to make something longer than the hypotenuse? Minus. Okay, so x squared equals, your squares being subtracted. Which one should we put first, the 13 squared or the 20 squared? 20, always the largest. And you know, the funny thing is, if you don't put it first, you'll find out pretty quick that you can't do the question. So usually we don't mess that part up. So x squared equals 20 squared minus 13. Then you go and find out your answers. So 20 times 20, 13 times 13. Use your calculator. Go ahead, use your calculator. That is no problems whatsoever. So we got 400, 20 times 20, minus, Olivia? Good, 169. Okay. And now you do your subtraction. Okay. Right? 20 squared is 20 times 20. And I don't know this one, so I'm definitely going to use my calculator and go 400 minus 169. That equals 231. Okay. Next step, x equals what? Square root what? 231. If you have this down, I will always mark it right no matter what you do with your rounding. Promise you. You can take that to the bank. So you have to make sure you know how to do square root on your calculator. They can be done two different ways. Some calculators you type it in as you see it. Square root button, 231. Others like mine and most phones, they're old school. So you go 231, then press your square root button. 15.1986. And usually for sides, we like to round to one decimal, which would be 15.2. But again, if you get square root 231, I will mark it correct. Okay. All right, any questions? Are you sure? Wait, next one here then. We are trying to 15. Good. Draw this triangle right here. Okay, so this is the other type of Pythagoras question that we'll find. Label your HOA. Draw the triangle, label your HOA. Goa. Okay, so labeling your HOA, which one is the H? Why? Because I asked. Which one's the H? Because I asked. Which one's the H? Because I asked. Sorry, dad joke. Okay. Which one's the H? Why? Because I asked. Okay. So across the 90 degrees, that's definitely the hypotenuse. Find your angle of interest, draw a straight line. That's the opposite side. Okay. And at the bottom, we have 10. That would be the adjacent side. Good. Good practice doing that. Review from yesterday. Should we add or subtract our squares? Why add? Yeah, when you try to find the longest side, you need to add them. Right? The hypotenuse is what we're trying to find. That's the longest side. So yes, we have to add them. Good. So 15 squared plus 10 squared. Okay, so go ahead and square them, then add them together, then square root it. Okay, go ahead. Use your calculators. Thanks. Okay, so y squared equals 15 squared plus 10 squared. 15 squared is 225. 10 squared is 100. Add them together, 325. So then we have to square root 325 for full marks. Okay, square root. I think I screwed that up. 325 square root 18.02, so 18.0 is perfect. All right. Any questions? All right. So you ideally, this is the math language. This is how you write this language. You want to model your work after this language so that you're saying to me you know what you know. Okay? If you're writing any differently, it's not going to really make sense. Okay. All right. So what I want you to do real quick, I just want you to do numbers 1 and numbers 3. That's it. Numbers 1 and numbers 3. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to do that, and then we're going to go on with our lesson. Okay, so we're going to go on with our lesson after that, and then go on with the, then you'll have time to work and finish your work. Sound good, Olivia? Perfect? Okay. I'll give you, say, 10 minutes, okay? 10 minutes. So trigonometric ratios, there's 3 trigonometric ratios. Some you'll remember them, some will never have seen them. So we're going to assume that you know very little. Page 14, page 14. So the first one on your calculator, it looks like a sin. But it's not a sin, we're not sinning, it's actually sine. Okay. But on your calculator, the key is SIN. And that's why you guys think it's sin. Just started, page 14. So sin is a ratio of the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse side. So if you found the measure of the opposite side was 6 and the hypotenuse side was 8, you would then divide 6 by 8 to figure out what the ratio was as a decimal. 6 divided by 8 equals 0.75. So you have kind of two answers. You have the ratio as a fraction or the ratio as a decimal. Usually for this class, we turn into the decimal and we work with it. Now your calculator has these all programmed into it, which is nice. So you don't have to look at all these data tables. So keeping that in mind, our calculator can find that ratio other ways. We'll look at that in a little bit. What you need to know is that sin is actually spelled S-I-N-E, sine, and we say it's sine like a stop sign. That's what those quotation marks are for. Its cousin is cos, or cosine. Okay, so on the calculator, you will see cos, C-O-S, but it stands for cosine, spelt with an E on the end. Said just like a stop sign with cos in front, cosine. Okay. The cosine ratio is adjacent side over the hypotenuse, adjacent over the hypotenuse. And again, that will be a fraction, and then we can turn that fraction into a decimal. All right? And we like to keep it as 4 decimal places. Another relative is tan, otherwise known as tangent, said as tangent. Okay? It is a ratio of the opposite over the adjacent. It has nothing to do with the hypotenuse. It hates the hypotenuse. In fact, they fight forever and ever, and they never get along. And that's why it's the opposite over the adjacent, that ratio. Okay. Hopefully you wrote these all down, wrote these all down, so you can quickly look at them. So moving on. Actually, I'll give you guys one more second. Oh, no, that's disappeared. Okay. Are you guys good? Do you need more time? Who needs more time? 1 second. So we're going to focus on sine first, and then cosine, and then tangent. But after we do sine, cosine and tangent are almost the same. You'll see that. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at your triangle below, and you're going to label your HOA. Okay. So for this triangle, the first thing you're going to do is label your HOA. And I'm just erasing it. There's our triangle. Number 1, label your HOA. Number 2, you'll choose your ratio. Okay. So go ahead, label your HOA. Which one's the hypotenuse? Seth? Good. So straight arrow to the opposite side, all across from 90 degrees is the hypotenuse. Which one's the opposite, Sam? No, because 5, we go straight line to the opposite side. And the one that's left over, adjacent. Okay. So when you do your sine ratio, you start by writing this down. And then you have to fill in the 3 spots, the green spot, the yellow spot, and down at the bottom, the blue spot. Okay. So we're going to start by writing this down. And you'll notice that in between sine and the equal sign, you have to have a number or a letter. It can't be blank. In this case, it's a Greek letter, but it could be a capital X or capital Y or capital W or capital beta or capital theta, like this one. So then what we do is we substitute in the proper numbers for the letters. So which side represents O? What's the number value? We labeled our HOA. It's 5. Good job. Okay. And what's the H value? 13. So now we make a fraction, 5 over 13. Don't forget your equal signs. Don't forget your equal signs. Don't forget your equal signs. I'm not sure why you guys never write them. Okay. It's like missing half a sentence. So now the next part is we got to turn that into a decimal. And so all we simply do is go 5 divided by 13. So on your calculator, 5 divided by 13, top by bottom, and we write down 4 decimals, 0.3846. Okay. So we do a little division, 5 divided by 13, and we write down 4 decimals, 0.3846. We don't round, we just stop writing. And that's called truncating. Okay, so we just truncate, we stop writing. Any questions about the sine ratio? 4 decimals? Okay, so this is how you get it from the triangle. Now we can find sine ratios other ways. Next way we're going to learn is how to do it from a calculator. Okay, so from a calculator, calculators measure angles in 3 ways. The first way is with degrees. Okay. So let me just show you real quick. The first way to measure angles and triangles with degrees. So on your calculator, if you're measuring in degrees, you'll see either the word degrees, a DEG, or a D. If you're looking at my calculator, top left corner, DEG, that tells me I'm in degrees. Most of you are probably going to have a little D. If I go to my graphing calculator, when I turn it on, where's the on button? Right there. I have to go to mode, and then there's radian and degree, the third line down. And so now degree is flashing, I press enter, and now it's on degrees. Okay. So if it doesn't have degrees, then maybe it's in radians. So either be the word radians, most likely not. You'll see a rad or an R on your screen. What's on your screen, Riley? What's on your screen? Yep, open up your calculator, have a look. So everyone needs to look at their calculator right now. It also might be gradients, which is grad or GR. Okay. So you're either looking for DEG, rad and grad, or you're looking for DRGR. Now, my other calculator, this one, I can change this super fast. Look how fast I'm changing it. So I got to be careful I don't press that button by accident. Okay, other calculators are really hard to change. I have to go into mode. Is everyone on degrees? You on degrees? Can't find it? Bring it up here right now real quick. If you can't find it, come up right now. Have a quick look. Let's have a look. So going on then, we have sine 15 degrees. How do you do it on your calculator? For most calculators, you're going to enter it in 15 sine on all phones. Newer calculators, if you see the word sine on your screen, when you press sine, you'll enter it in the bottom in blue. So I'll show you real quick on this calculator, which is like your phone, 15, and then I press sine, and that's the answer in 4 decimals. Okay. Newer calculators, when you see it on the screen, I first of all have to turn it on, then I press sine, 15 degrees and equals. Okay. So practice right now. You should get, as an answer, it's down below. Your answer should be 0.2588. Okay. Try right now. If you can't do it, come on up right away. Try it on your phone right now. If you can't do it, come up right away. Try it on your phone right now. If you can't do it, come up. Okay. Try the next one then. Sine 67. Can you do it? 0.9205. And then the last one, sine 42 degrees. Okay, if you can't get it, come up right now. Try them both. If you can't get them, come up right now. Going once. All good? Okay, awesome. Moving down then. So next after sine, we're going to look at cosine. Why is it not responding? There we go. So exact same thing. What you're going to do is you're going to label your HOA. GOA. Okay, label your HOA. Which side's the hypotenuse? 13. Which side's the opposite? 5. And which side's the adjacent? 12. Okay. So we start by writing down cos theta equals A over H. Cos theta equals A over H. Write that down, write that down, write that down, write that down. Cos theta equals A over H. Now that we have our hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent written out, you substitute in. Which number represents A? Which number represents A? 12. And which number represents H? 13. So our fraction is 12 over 13. Write that down, write that down, write that down. Remember your equal signs, remember your equal signs, remember your equal signs. Okay. What's the next step? Top divided by bottom. So 12 divided by 13. Turn it into your decimals. 12 divided by 13. And there's 4 decimals. That's right, 0.9230. Any questions? Okay. So that's finding the ratio from the triangle. Now we're going to go and find the ratio for given the angle, just like we did up above. So here we have cos 15 degrees. It's not the same as sine 15 degrees. So do it on your calculator. Make sure you get 0.9659. If you're not getting that, come up right away. Come up right away. Come up right away. Try this on your calculator. Try this on your calculator. Try this on your calculator. Any issues? Okay, so try the next one, cos 67. Try cos 67 on your calculator. Any issues? And the last one as well, cos 42, 0.7431. Any issues? Okay, turn it over then. We're going to go down now to the cos question, the tangent one. Sorry. So now we're going to work on tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. And just like before, label your HOA. Start by labeling your HOA. Labeling your HOA. H-O-A. GOA. Label the HOA. H-O-A. Okay. So the H is 13. Opposite side is 5. And adjacent side is 12. So we start by writing down tan theta equals O over A, or opposite over adjacent. Then you substitute in the numbers. What number represents the opposite side? 5. And the adjacent side? 12. So now we go to our calculator, and what do we type in? 5 divided by 12. So we got to find the ratio from the triangle. Don't need to round, just truncate, so 0.4166. 0.4166. All right. Any questions? So what we're going to do now, Livia, you got that? Perfect. You were just doing that on your calculator? So you're on your phone, farting around. Oh, okay. Stop that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change the angle. So instead of theta down below, we're going to put a B with a tail, which is called beta. So now we're going to find beta up top. Okay, we're going to find tangent beta. So when you switch angles, you got to switch your HOA. So you got to relabel your HOA, GOA. Okay, write this letter up top, write the B down, and redo your HOA. So what you should notice is now your opposite side isn't 5 any longer, but 12 is your opposite side. And 5 isn't your adjacent, sorry, 12 isn't your adjacent side, but 5 is your adjacent side. So when you switch HOAs, what you notice is that the opposite and adjacent switch. Okay? So new angles, new HOAs. New angles, new HOAs. Okay, write down tan beta equals. Write down what you're supposed to write down. Go for it. Fill in the blanks. Okay. Tan beta equals O over A. Substitute in. Find the decimal value. And this one's different because it's not a small decimal anymore. It's 2.4. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Hands up if you got 2.4. Riley, what'd you get? What'd you get? Why not? Just do your division, right? 12 divided by 5. Got written down, help you out. Okay, next. Okay. So tan 15, try it on your calculator. Tan 67, try it on your calculator. And tan 42, try that on your calculator. Any calculator issues? So your homework, what you need to do, number one, you need to finish your old work and quiz one. Okay. So number one, finish quiz one. Number two, okay, assignment number 5. You're working through assignment number 5 up to 7. So stop right here. Okay, at the end of 6, right, put a line and say stop. Okay, put a line and say stop. Okay. So we're doing quiz 1. You want to finish quiz 1. And then assignment 5 up, numbers 1 to 6. Okay, any questions? The other class got it down quite easily, so I trust you guys can too.